Hello guys! As you see in the title, this video is where I yap a lot and give you a tips for every character in this game, which is probably one of the reasons why I use this text-to-speech. Anyways, in this video, I'm gonna talk about Tatsumaki, Suiryu, and also the new Child Emperor. So grab your popcorns and enjoy this video. This move allows you to pull the enemy towards you and make them ragdolls. It also has a variant when you hold the jump like this. But I'm not recommend you using that because the jump variant did a small amount of damage. Now the second move creates a small tornado that also ragdolls the enemy and throws them back. You can also M1 your enemy while he's in the tornado. Now the third move is a combo extender that covers the enemy with stone and throws them back at the user. And if you miss, the stone's gonna stay for about 8 seconds. You can stand on it, and you can also wall combos on it. Lastly, the final move is a travel use twice move. If you didn't, you can just fly, which is the only base move that can fly so far. Also, if you hit the move on ragdoll enemy, it will make your enemy freeze from ragdoll, which it's not a combo extender. So don't try silly stuff hitting it with front dash unless your opponent is hella dumb. Now, Tatsumaki has similarities with Sonic, which the 1, 2, and 3 move is blockable and the 4th move doesn't. So don't Raleigh hits a move because it's too easy to get punished. One of the tricks that you can do is trying to down slam your enemy's breaking block. The mistakes that a lot of Tatsumaki players is using crushing pull when the enemy's ragdoll almost ended. It sometimes happens when you wait on Windstorm Fury to throw your enemy on the ground, and it's already too late. Let's talk about the passive now. On getting a finisher, you can get a force field surrounding you by pressing the block button. If the force field gets broken, for example, your opponent hits you back, the force field will push your enemy away. This move can also protect you from projectiles, and it can make you survive and incinerate if I'm not wrong, which is probably one of the best passives. I think that's all for the base move. Now, it's time for the ultimate. Mind my awakening outfit. The first ultimate move is an AoE attack, throwing a literal meteors. If you use this move when you are near with players, it can stun them in place so you can hit your first skill easily, since the startup was so long. However, if your opponent have a evasive, they can escape from the stun, which is probably the most important thing about this ultimate. The second move is a close range attack. It throws your enemy away, slam, and then push them. Remember when I said your opponent's evasive is important? Well, it's because of this move. This move did around 95% damage, which like a few M1s and then they died. And to make it balanced, they decided to make this move blockable and you can also evasive from it. And yes, it's also blockable even if you hit your opponent's back. And the last move, Sky Snatcher. It is also a flight move like Expulsive Push. The difference is that you grabs your opponent and throws them away. You can also extend with a move like Cosmic Strike or Psychic Ricochet. And by the way, its force field passive will be infinite while on the awakening. And yeah, I think that's all for Tatsumaki. If I forget something, you can tell me in the comments. Now, it's time for the brand new released character, martial artist, aka Suiryu.
Bruh.
Bullet Barrage is probably one of the best moves in this moveset. It grabs your enemy and then slams them into the ground, and then throws your enemy into a random direction. For the dummy, it's somehow like guaranteed going into there. But for players, it's random. Now, the reason of this move is so OP. It's because you can follow up with your second, third, and fourth move. This move can also hit a ragdoll player. Like I said almost on every video, this dummy is broken, but it works for players. I can recreate it in 2 times speed. It looks like that, but your enemy will get thrown even further. So you can't extend with anything but using its second skill. Now its second move also pretty interesting. It's a use twice move when you get the first hit. You knock back your enemy away, and then if you click again, it will trace where your opponents and ragdolls them. I said this move was interesting because of its use twice has almost infinite range. After you land the first hit, the second hit can cancel the move you're trying to use. For example, like this. This move is the only move that can break your enemy's block. The third move creates an AoE damage and ragdolls anyone that's close to you. It will do the same amount of damage on a blocking player, but the difference is that you will not make them ragdoll. It will do 12% damage, same like Whirlwind Drop. But it grabs a player, then also make them ragdolls for a combo extender. It can hit a blocking player, but it's just gonna did this. Same like Tatsu, you can get your passive by hitting a finisher, but this time it's in special mini uppercut, which, not gonna lie, it's probably one of the most useless passive ever. Yes, it did around 13% damage, but like it sometimes throws your enemy way further. So like it's pointless. Almost all of this moveset makes a ragdoll, and you can't uppercut a ragdolled player. Now to the mistakes. Imagine you catch your opponent with M1. I don't recommend you use its first move. When it's still in early access, Bullet Barrage supposed to be unescapable. Now your opponent can evasive out of it. So if you want to use its first skill, make sure your opponent's evasive's already gone. If you hit your opponents, I recommend you use head first. Now doing a follow-up with fourth move is pointless now, since your opponent can evasive from its first skill. Again, you can just waste its evasive first, then use other combos like doing fourth M1. Doing this was a better option. Remember that 3 of the Suiryu's move was blocking. So like almost every character don't rawly hits a move. Finally, ultimate time. He'll speed this up. Grand Fisher 25%. If both hits did a 50% damage. And also has a finisher. I-frame grab move did around 40% damage. Earth-splitting strike, a cutscene. Did 51% damage. You can also do the uppercut if you struggle with hitting this move somewhere. And finally, the coolest of them all. Did 85% damage, by the way. This whole startup can be cancelled with anything. And also, you didn't grant it an iframe on the running part.